Yo, what's good? What's good? Welcome back to the Imagination Upgraded podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Champ Robinson, and I got a special guest here with me today from the city, all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but he's currently residing in Arizona.
Yes, sir. Yes,
He
sir.
is the founder, owner, creator of Filthy Clothing Company. My boy, Niger Amen, aka Hussle Simmons. What's good, man?
What up? What up? What up? How you
Man,
doing, sir?
I'm glad you finally got up here, man. I know we've been trying to link up for a minute, and
Yeah.
we've let's see. It's funny because like we met online, but we from the
Right.
same city.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We never actually linked up in the city, but we met out of a mutual respect for the hustle, the grind, seeing what we've been doing, and then I just start following your journey with the Filthy Clothing Company, and then you was following me with Imagination Upgraded. So it had to happen. We
Right.
had to make
Indeed.
this happen.
Indeed.
Yeah, man.
Being so far away from home and trying to do something that everybody's not participating in, you will kind of want to try to find your peers. You know, that come from where you come from, that's familiar to you, that you can actually identify with. And
Facts.
when I came across your page, I just saw so many similarities in our movement and
Mm-hmm.
how you moved and what your thought process was, how you approach your grind. You know, I had to, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because I needed those type of inspiration. So, man, I've been watching for years and you doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, man. You know what they say, man. You gotta have people around you that's same focus, or you know what I'm saying. What they say, you have nine broke people around you. You about to be the 10th one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So, like you say,
Indeed.
never not hustling if you ain't hustling. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't be around you.
Right.
So, man, I mean, let's talk about it, man, because we are, like you said, we very similar. Three kids,
Three kids.
three kids, right?
Yeah.
Married, moved away from home to the West Coast. Grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Went to Milwaukee Public Schools.
Right.
You know what I mean? What brought you out this way?
Um, Honestly, it was opportunity, and it was trying to find a way out of that city.
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually I felt like I had reached the ceiling for who I was becoming,
Mm-hmm.
what my potential for growth was career wise, and even as a creative. So it just got to a point where I couldn't get it off of me. I had to get out of there, and an opportunity presented itself. I had never been to Phoenix before, didn't know anybody, had no friends, no family, nothing. I
Mm-hmm.
just stumbled across an opportunity and came. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So initially it was just getting out of Milwaukee, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then once I met Crystal and that, then I figured out why I was called there. But in out the gate, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So now, for those people who listen to this podcast that are not from Milwaukee or um, uh, don't think there's black people in Milwaukee, I
Right.
know you get that one a
Right.
lot,
A
bro.
lot.
All
A
the
lot.
time, every time
A
I'm from
lot.
Milwaukee. Oh, it's black people there.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of us
Yeah.
are there. You know what I'm saying? Tell them what was your life like coming up in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee was a interesting place because until you leave and go back, you really don't understand that it's small in comparison to the cities that you see on television or around you
Mm-hmm.
because it seems so much faster than places that you visit.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up was uh, it was typical. It was just me. My mom's raising me. Me and my sister, single parent home. We grew up around 42nd in Hampton. It's hard to explain because it was so different. Me coming from an upbringing where I took to a different culture early, it was skateboarding. So
Mm-hmm.
my upbringing was like dealing with the skate parks and then going to Stark Park and trying to balance the life of being a skater and growing up in a neighborhood that is
Mm-hmm.
not welcome.
To
You know,
skating,
to
like
to,
it's not the
to
thing.
skate is
Yeah,
not the thing.
yeah.
So it taught me a lot about how to be sharp in the streets, and also how to how to make my way through the world once I entered the real world. Um, School was school, but when I learned everything that I needed to learn from the neighborhoods growing up,
Mm-hmm.
it was I was a kid that got into some trouble early and had to figure things out. But luckily, I wised up after a while and got my shit right.
Yeah,
You know.
that's what's up.
Um,
Know
yeah.
what's crazy is how, let's say, like back in the day when we were, I say back in the day like we super old, we ain't that old, but we
I know,
old.
right?
But you know what I'm
I
saying?
feel old.
Back in the days, when we was coming up, it wasn't really a an accepted thing for you to do something outside of being like a street dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, how you say
Yeah.
you was skateboarding, and then
Right.
people in the hood look at you kind of weird. Now like, it's nerds in the hood. You know what I mean? Like they do,
Yeah. Yeah.
anime, like all kind of crazy stuff. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's good to
Yeah.
see that kind of meshing now.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
good to see that because it was frowned upon. So it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times we as black people think that if we set the trends, then we determine what's fresh. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
things have been cool for a long time.
Yeah.
I like to tell people I was skateboard P before skateboard P,
Before
before it was
skateboard
cool
P,
to
yeah.
be skateboard P.
Uh-huh.
So to see communities get into um, arts and like you said, there's tech nerds, there's MMA in the
Mm-hmm.
community. I love seeing it.
It's good. It's a good
It's
mesh.
good seeing the growth and the progression. And if I could for the city, I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just all kind of shit.
No, you good. So I mean, it's giving more different outlooks on life and different opportunities to the city where we came from now than where we at. Would you agree with that? Like,
Yeah, I would.
yeah.
I would. I think it's more community driven, which I love. I think a lot of the problem in the city is that they depend too heavily on the state and for the city
Mm-hmm.
to help them do or implement initiatives and programs that are going to help the community.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's just not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I do love seeing the community getting involved and
Mm-hmm.
putting those programs together in the community, responding to them because it's a lot of dope movements out there. It's a lot
Absolutely.
of stuff to be proud of, and I love it that we're hands on with it,
Mm-hmm.
and in a lot of areas leading the charge is dope.
Yeah.
You know,
So how do you feel like, for example, like you and I, we say, we hit the ceiling of where we could go there, and we had to move out to be able to
Yeah.
expand what we doing. Like I always say, it's not realistic for everybody to move, but it's realistic for us to move, a couple of us to move,
indeed.
and then bring back to the city what we've learned and give that to the city, which is another thing I want to talk about with you. You took some stuff back to the city, like you drove your whole company,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
to do a pop-up shop in the
Right,
city.
right.
So before we get there, let's talk about your company first so everybody knows what it is. So
Okay.
tell us about your company.
Okay. Filthy Clothing Company is a streetwear brand that I started. It basically was me creating an opportunity to sell for myself and start a brand that provided things that I didn't see in stores that I felt like was missing from it. And it's a mesh of the three favorite cultures basically of mine. I started as a hip hop baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it went from hip hop to the skate culture I'm a huge fan of. And then in Milwaukee, you're gonna at some point be involved in the street
Mm-hmm.
essence. So what I basically try to do as a company is mesh the three, because I felt like a lot of brands cater to either or,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell that, oh, this is a brand that's for this crowd or this
Right.
crowd. I wanted it to kind of be more ambiguous, and I wanted to be biased.
A
Like
mix.
when you go on the page or when you go on the IG, it almost seems gender, sex, and everything else bias, color bias.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know who it is or
Right.
who's running it, and that's kind of how I wanted it to feel. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So that's really what it was. Is just trying to bring something that I felt like was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How'd you get it started?
With a down in the dream, literally, man. I had the idea. I'm going on year 3,
Mm-hmm.
as far as being a company, but it was 2 years prior to that, just kind of getting the idea down.
Mm-hmm.
And during that process, I was just saving the money that I could. I had a goal in mind as far as a dollar amount,
Mm-hmm.
and during that time, I tried to map out what I wanted to do, found the pieces that I needed to, made the calls, did the homework. And honestly, I jumped in, bro. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I had no clue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of times at this point, when people perceive a certain level of success, they'll ask you like, man, so how did you get started and what did you do? What are the first things you do? And I honestly don't know how to advise them because I didn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I got started by getting started.
Just got started.
That's all I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no good time to get started.
Yeah, there's no good time. There's no plan. There's no. I mean, do as much homework as you can because you're spending your dollar. But at the same time, there is no blueprint. You know, you just gotta start.
You gotta get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
I remember, I never forget that I pulled up to the spot and I did my first order. And I think it was like $500, $700 or something. And the money that I had been saving during the course of putting it together was just all singles in this shoebox. So that's why I call it $1 in a dream. I literally went in there. I had so many singles, Chad. It was just like, and the guy looked at me like, what? Is that how you're paying for it? You don't have a debit card? And I was like, yeah, but I got this idea. I wanted to actually literally be $1 in a dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, he was looking at me like I was crazy. He took it though.
That's dope though. Like you went in there like, yo, this is exactly what it's gonna be. So you were living the brand.
Yeah, I was living the brand. I literally went in there with $1 in a dream, literally.
Man.
Yeah, so
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
So you said you've been at this for 3 years now.
Right.
Like what's some of the, because I see you do a lot of, your social media is active. You do a lot of the pop-up shops, which we're going to talk about. Like, how do you keep it going? And, because you make a lot of fresh designs. Like, your stuff doesn't look like anything I see out here, which is dope. So, like, how are you attacking the ground? Because it's almost like guerrilla, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're almost like ground warfare. Like, I'm getting out in these streets. I'm hitting people. So, talk about that a little bit. Like, how you attacking it. Creating brand awareness and all that.
My biggest thing is branding is my biggest thing. You know, I think it's in the beginning, it's the most important thing. And coming in, I knew that I was working with limited dollars. So my whole approach was I wanted to be the loudest thing on your timeline when you did scroll. So what I did, if you remember in the beginning, my colors and the contrast were bright. They were always bright, and they were meant to be so that when you're scrolling, it's like literally the loudest thing on your timeline. Yeah. So I just really started with that approach, and then I wanted to be everywhere. So at the same time that I'm I'm doing that, I'm running the social media accounts, the IG and the Facebook, and it's just a constant grind, you know. Again, when I started that, there was no plan. I just thought that I needed to be as visible and as active as possible with the branding, because once I solidified with myself as a brand and that I actually have sustainable designs, okay, this dude is serious. Oh, that's fresh. And it's consistency, because consistency is king. You know what I mean? So if you can establish consistency, even when you slow down, the people that have seen that consistency will stick with you. Right. And it might allow you, that slowdown might allow you to ramp back up or do whatever you need to do to remain consistent for another 2 to 3 years. But in the gate, it's like hard. Bam, 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 as visible as possible, everywhere, as loud as possible. Right. And, once I made my first mistakes on paying too much for print, I was like, okay, dude, you get 2 colors. You know what I mean? Yeah. And make them as contrast, as loud as possible, but you only get 2 colors. Right. Because it was killing me. So that's really all it was, is just trying to stay as consistent and as visible as possible for 2 years. And so I just approached it like that, man. Every single, you saw me. Yeah, I saw you. It was in the beginning. It was like every single day. Yeah. So, and it worked for me. After a while, people have known me for being consistently dope. Yeah. Okay, that's fresh. Okay, damn, he did it again. That's fresh. Because in the beginning, you're just trying to separate yourself from guys that print t-shirts. I didn't want to be that guy. I knew coming in that's who I was. Right. And I would be that guy probably for the first year. Oh, he doing t-shirts. He think he got the clothing on. Yeah. Damn, just printing t-shirts. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't want to be that guy. So I had to work to separate myself, legitimize what I was doing. So it took about 2 years, and now it's it's rolling. Yeah. It's doing night.
Let's talk about these pop-up shops, man. And specifically, I followed the movement when you took it from, was that your first pop-up shop in Milwaukee? Yeah. When you drove from Arizona so talk about that, man. And how was that? How was the reception of it and everything?
It was dope, man. A close friend of mine had told me, like, man, I don't think you understand how strong your buzz is in the city. He said you might can see certain things online, and to a certain extent, I really don't trust online love. I don't trust likes and love
Yeah,
because how many times you've been doing something and type LOL, but you're really not LOL
at
at
all,
all.
at
You know what
all.
I'm
Didn't
saying?
even lie.
So
Yeah.
exactly, you know what I mean. So as far as on like love and the responses and all that, I really don't go off that. I don't trust it at all because it's
Hmm.
not tangible for me.
Right.
You know, so my man was like, but when you come up here, you're gonna understand like there's been a buzz, and you know you'll see. So kind of put it off, and then I got the opportunity to go up there, um, and it was so dope, man, to have as many people come out as they did, and to have the type of love that I was shown. It was just dope. I worked with Rico from Trusted, who
Hmm.
showed me hella love. You know what I mean? He showed me hella love. Even after I did his event, I needed racks and hangers for another pop up. He was like, "Man, bro, come get them. Just drop them back off, man. You can use whatever you want." Man, it was just love. And then I did the other one with G's.
Hmm.
So not only to be able to do them, but to be able to do them with two black men and do
Right.
positive business
Yeah.
and have a positive environment and bring something positive to the city. I did business with two other black men as a black man. That was
Hmm.
the dopest thing about it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But the buzz when I got there was just the amount of people that knew about it.
Right.
You know, was surprising, man. I did very well the first time. Um, I was amazed by it, you
That's
know,
what's up, man.
because it's just something that you created. You really
Yeah.
don't expect for the buzz to be like that, you know.
Yeah.
And until you can see it face to face, you don't get it.
Yeah. And a
You
lot of
know.
times people don't think, especially with Milwaukee, people think that Milwaukee don't support Milwaukee,
Right.
and that's why we're not out in the forefront as far as creatives or out there like how Atlanta jumped out there or how
Right.
Chicago jumped out there.
Right.
Detroit, it seems like everybody's around us is jumping out there, but
Right.
like it's a lot of untapped talent in Milwaukee, but people think we don't support. But I always say, Milwaukee support good shit.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I'm saying? So if
They
you're
do.
doing some good shit,
They
like
do.
Milwaukee is supported, you know what I mean? Like when I went back and we did our premiere, like it was packed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I didn't expect that because I was one of those people that also thought like, yo, the city don't support. I support who I like, but
Right.
the city don't support.
Right.
But to see and hear that you got a lot of support when you went back, it definitely shows that either the city is, coming together more or just it's all changing and we're like, yo, we gonna
Yeah.
support our
Yeah.
own.
And I do think that it's changing. I do think when I go back, because growing up in our era, with when you're the creatives, if you did the rap music, it was a small hip hop community, and that community and their close friends and family supported that community.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't really a lot. If you were another type of artist, it was the same. There weren't a lot of outside of supporting just for the sake of supporting something dope.
Yeah.
Whereas now these days when you go to the city, there's more outlets for artists and creatives, and there's
Right.
more just general support for them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's a dope renaissance happening there, and I think with fashion and design that we're at the forefront,
Right.
because I don't know that we've ever had to go through the struggle of what rap artists or hip hop artists
Mm-hmm.
have gone through in it, because it was a struggle to get to the city to support local hip hop artists, even the radio.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? It was a
absolutely.
struggle. I don't think as designers we've gone through that. I see Larry doing well. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I see the sis from Classic doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Rebel, like it's a lot of kids that are doing their thing and they're doing well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's supported and endorsed and reposted and shared by the city.
Yeah.
So
Everybody
it's
jumping on board.
it's really dope to be involved in fashion at this point and be from the city, because there's a lot of dope stuff happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's take it back and talk about you talked about how it was dope to be supported by two black men, which was G and the other man
Rico from Trusted.
okay, from Trusted.
Trusted
So
Kids,
Rico
yeah.
from Trusted. You know what I mean? I like to. I feel like we had a time where people are almost villainizing like the black man a little bit even more than back in the day. Like
Yeah.
it seems like it's obviously we see in the news what's happening to us always,
Right.
and it's good to see us starting to come together and support each other more and not be back how back in the days people you look at somebody wrong and they like, yo, fam, what you looking at me like that for?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, yo, I see what you're doing, fam. I like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
Right,
like
right.
that hoodie. I like what
Right.
you're doing. So, you know what I'm saying? Talk about that, like just like coming together as black men in the community, because I think that's important for us to get to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's funny that you termed it that way, because one of the capsules that I'm doing soon is called "Root for the Villains," and it's basically centered around that philosophy. There is that the villain always has a story as well. You know what I'm saying? The villain just didn't become a villain. And the most vilified person on this planet is the black man. But he has a story. You know what I mean? He might have, regardless of where he ended up now, it could be the penitentiary, it could be, on the streets doing whatever, it could be working hard. Whatever, however you view him as far as vilifying him, he also has a story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we should, in a lot of instances, root for those villains. Because I was one of them.
Definitely was one of them.
You know what I mean? I was one of the villains, and I had a story. You know what I mean? And luckily, not only were other people rooting for me, I root for myself, saying, so I was able to write that. But, it's a great feeling coming from a city where black men are typically mugging each other, don't like each other, ready to hate, shade, kill each other. And to be able to and I explain this to the wife a lot, is that when I go home, regardless of the ups and downs, so one of the dopest things about it is that I can go all day and support black businesses. You know what I mean? Like I can get my hair cut with a black man. I can go to a lounge and eat that a black man owns. I can leave there, go to the cleaners, pick my clothes up from the black man. I can go to the gas station. And until you leave and you don't have that, and you live somewhere like Phoenix, you don't really understand how important that is. You know what I'm saying? For not only for the children to see, but you as an adult man to see that is important. So to be able to go back to a city that is highly vilified as far as black men go, and so much negative, and actually do good business, it's just a dope feeling. You know, we praise the negative about it and we promote it, but there's a lot of positive things happening in Milwaukee, man.
Absolutely. I wanna talk about just being a businessman, entrepreneur, and having the family. We have a similar family set up, with a wife, 3 kids, and all that kind of stuff. Talk to me about like how important it is that having that family structure behind you to be able to move forward in your business.
Oh man, it's hugely important. But my kids drive me crazy, bro.
Bro, who you telling, bro?
I'm just, like this.
Who you telling, man?
This is bad. Like,
for real.
Like, I'm gonna answer about the balance in a minute, but sometimes you get a thought about your kids and you just be like,
you got the youngins.
Dog, it's just terrible.
Yeah,
they
man.
Somewhere right now, terrible right now.
Terrorizing.
My wife can't. She probably. I wish he hurry up. How much longer he got? It's terrible.
I apologize if I hold him too long.
Oh no, we all good. It's important because the brand a lot of times exists because I got Crystal. Like when you're trying to build something, you in the early stages, and your sense of security ain't really there yet. You're not really certain that okay, this is gonna work. You have those doubts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And me, I'm a Gemini, so I tend to be scatterbrained. I might have a year and a half ago ditched this and start doing something else, and then ditched that 2 years later. But I had her to be like, nah, babe, like I really think that you wanted something. You need to stick it out. We hit hard times or whatever, and we like, nah, I can use that money to do this and this and that. She like, no, we're not quitting.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's even here today is in large part due to her. So to have that structure and to have that support, man, it's invaluable.
Yeah, man.
Especially with the kids, it's just balance.
Yeah.
I
don't know if people really understand like how important it is to have that, it's basically being able to have that peace in your crib.
Yeah.
But then she's also helping you because I see she models your clothes for you. You know what I mean? Y'all take the pictures together. Y'all put the kids in there doing all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's good. It's good for people to see that. But it's also, I think people need to, understand the sacrifice it takes for that, because like for me, when I decided we were gonna move to California, we saved up money, but when we moved out here, it wasn't like, all right, I'm finna go get this job.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
yo, I'm finna figure this out. You know
Right.
what I mean? I didn't
Right.
have nothing else but my wife to fall back on.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a sacrifice there. And I know you have a unique story that I seen you post the other day that I really wanted to kind of dive in with you and talk to you about, because you had to do your own sacrifice
Yeah.
in order to make this happen and make some stuff happen for, you know, people
Right.
that you have to take care of. You know, if you don't mind talking about that a little bit.
No, not at all. You know, I had a post on Facebook that basically said that I found everything I wanted and needed when I moved to Phoenix, but in the process I lost my daughter. You know, and I know at this point it's temporary. She's only 18. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? We got a lifetime. I'm, you know, still gonna be a father, but there is there's always a risk. You know, with trying to chase a reward. You know, and the risk was that I knew that the relationship dynamic with her other parent, her mom, ain't exactly what it should have been. So there was a risk that it could damage our relationship. But I felt like I'm a good enough father. I'll come back frequently. I'll stay involved. You know, that I could offset it a little bit. You know, so but time and distance is a hell of an opponent. You know what I mean? So eventually it took its toll. You know, and we still a work in progress. But part of the loss, making the decision I made was my relationship with her. You know, which, you know, it eats at you, but you just have to kind of at a certain point trust the work that you did and trust that she'll understand that I had to make a choice. Like either I can save myself and make a better way for myself and you know, and figure it out. Because in Milwaukee, man, like outside of the other elements that we deal with, man, you getting cheated on careers and pay and wages and living wages and you know what I mean? Like especially if you a person of color, and I really didn't understand how much people of color are getting robbed up there for working wages until I moved out west. Like to do the same job, y'all about to pay me $40,000 more a year to do. I did the same job over there for them. You know what I mean? So it was all about trying to position myself to be a better person, a better man for her. I did it for her, but at the end of the day, she was one of the sacrifices at this point. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, we got a lifetime.
Definitely
You know?
got. I mean, she'll see it. Like,
Yeah.
you're doing a lot of. It's not like you're out bullshitting. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
out like really making it happen. And I
Right.
know I see you. You know what I'm saying? Like I see you like driving back and you know what I'm saying, always posting about talking to her and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good, but like it's good to know like there has to be some kind of sacrifice sometimes. You
There
know
has
what I
to
mean?
be. And you have to be ready for it.
You got to be ready for it.
You got to be ready for it
Because
because
you
it's
gotta
going
be
to burn.
strong for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. It's going to burn and it's going to make you second think the decision that you made. And you know what I mean? Like there's it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's about trusting the work that you do along the way.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You know what I mean? So it's kind of where I'm at with it is like, bro, you just got to trust the job you did. Trust the man you are. Trust the job you did. Trust the history and experience that y'all got. Trust your relationships. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know, and then when it does materialize and she sees things fall into the places that I saw early, you know, she'll get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I know, you know, we talk about how we just jump into it and didn't really have a plan.
Love you, Naya, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Give it a love, give it a shout out. Yeah, man. You know, just kind of on another note, we talk about, you know, the plan. Like, where do you see this going? Like, where do you see? Because now you're building a legacy. You know what I'm saying? And that legacy is something that, you know, one day Naya may take over. You
Indeed.
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it's breaking those generational curses. You know what I mean? From my parents, they had money like that. You know, my grandma, she owned a house, but you know, we didn't have money like that.
Right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? So now we're like trying to be owners and really break those curses. Like, where do you see this going? Where do you see filthy cloth going?
I don't really. To me, it was always a seed is how I've always looked at Filthy Clothing Company. It might be teaching me or positioning me to do something else. It's laying the foundation to show me or give me experience in entrepreneurship or my children. Ultimately, the end goal is to have at least one flagship store that also serves as a STEM co-working environment. Is what I would love to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is the front end of it be the retail side? The connecting unit would be a STEM or co-op, something similar to what they tried to do with Vector 90, somewhere between that and the Starbucks.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of toes the line between college community and Central City,
Yeah.
so that those individuals can work together. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's what I would love to build with the brand. I don't just see the brand being having a typical flagship store. I
Yeah.
want something that involves community.
It's
You know,
something
'cause I'm-
bigger.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
more than just, t-shirts, jackets, and hoodies.
Right, right,
It's a lifestyle and kind
right.
of a,
A community based
Yeah.
movement.
Absolutely.
Something that's inclusive.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where I see it down the line.
You into STEM? Like you into any of that, or you just kind of see that that's the next?
I just see that
next
that's as far as and I mean science, technology, engineering, and math. So
Yeah.
I see that as those always being the necessary career or contribution fields as far as our communities go. And I would like to see a heightened interest in those things: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics from us. And I feel like if if the the campus itself could be positioned somewhere central to the student community and the Central City community, that it wouldn't be a problem getting them together to work as a co-op. Because I always tell people, man, that I feel like a lot of reason why some of these cures we haven't found yet, the cure for cancer, for instance, is because it exists in a mind that right now attends an underfunded school.
Didn't have the opportunity to get there.
Didn't have the opportunity to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are minds that are untapped and underfunded that are out there that hold the key to who knows what. And it's about positioning, and it's about exposing them to access to opportunity. You know what I mean? Because I remember being a creative who it was in the basement when I created, because sometimes you went outside, you were into different things, but in the privacy of my own room, I drew and I wrote this, and I was a creative, you know what I mean? There are creatives out there who I know come from that similar background, you know what I mean? Because they didn't stop making them when they made us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I would love it to be, man, at the end of the day, because I firmly believe in that.
Yeah. I
I
got a buddy here who does a program for underserved, underprivileged communities called STEAM Coders. And it's basically STEM, but with arts added into it, which is A, so it's STEAM. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really like it because all of those things are connected, man. Like science, technology, engineering, arts, math.
Right.
Like you can use each one of those to make something dope.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everything is its own art in its own right. Like science has an art to it.
Mathematics
has an art to it.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? All that has an art to it. So I mean, with creatives getting into that, it's really kind of thing where it should be, because you can always help out. Like even thinking about I watched a interview with Nipsey when he was starting his smart store.
Okay.
And he said he was in a coffee shop or something, a restaurant or something, and he just seen a dude, like little black dude coding.
Yeah.
And he's just looking at him, looking over his shoulder. He was trying not to be weird, but he just like wanted to see what he was doing, and eventually he just went up to him, and then he started the smart store.
Yeah.
Him and them started the smart store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the Idris kid. Yeah, that dude.
That's his name, right? Idris. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a genius.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, he's a genius.
But that's another one of those, like, underserved, underprivileged.
Right.
He caught an opportunity.
Right.
And look what he got.
And look what he got.
So I think that's really dope. And actually, while we on that topic, let's talk about like Nipsey a little bit, because before we got started, you and I, we were talking about how it's been a couple people talking about, oh, Nip's not a legend and this and that, but we were talking about like how you said like a lot of the way you thought about structuring your business,
Yeah,
came
yeah,
from, you know.
yeah. He introduced me to concepts like vertically integrated.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
talk about it. Vertically integrated. Talk
and
about it.
and just being vertically integrated, whereas you own the order of operations from base to the stems. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So you're integrated. Each company is integrated with each other from the bottom up. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So from where the music is recorded at, who masters it, who where it's warehoused, how it's distributed, what label it's on, those types of things are all integrated all the way up to the top. Which is
Mm-hmm.
and I really, again, it just gets back to perspective. I really never looked at business from a lot of perspectives that he gave me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
From just studying just interviews of his, man.
Right.
He was brilliant.
Hmm.
The way that he approached business.
Right.
It made me smarter coming in. I kind of adopted a lot of his viewpoints.
Hmm.
On some things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think, we was just talking, I think like that's what makes, the legend of Nipsey Hussle is that
Indeed.
right there. You know what
Indeed.
I'm
It's not
saying?
about music per se.
Hmm. Hmm.
He was a legend overall,
Hmm.
as far as his community goes, as far as his character goes, as far as his contribution, the way he was able to unite people,
Yeah.
what he was doing, the example that he was setting for
Hmm.
his community. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X never made a rap album. Would
Hmm.
you say that they not legends?
Facts. Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
That's a irrelevant
Hmm.
standard to try to use to disqualify somebody from being a legend.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, man.
Definitely a legend. You
Definitely
know.
a legend. But yeah, man, we building, building towards being legends right here, man. And that,
Right.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I think
Indeed.
that as long as, we stay the course of what we're doing and stay true to who we are and why we're doing it, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna make a impact on our city because I think a lot of what we're doing. Well, I know I get a lot of messages from people, and you may too. Just like, yo, man, I'm happy you doing that. Like, it's
Yeah.
inspiration, it's
Yeah.
motivation. Like, keep it up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, how does that feel to get that, kind of love from the city, and to know that what you're putting out into the world is motivating somebody else to move forward and do something that maybe they thought they couldn't do.
It's the best feeling in the world, man. It is to know that you having that type of impact on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's also inspiring for you as well. Because a lot of those messages, you ever notice, they're well timed.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you always get one when you at a point when you're second guessing something. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Or double, like, man, should I do that? Or, man, how am I gonna get to the next? You always get that well timed message that says, man, I love what you're doing, man. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Keep doing that, man. I had an idea to do this and I never follow through with it, but to see
Mm-hmm.
you, blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the timing of them is always so. Not only not only do you see that you're motivating somebody else, it's also hella helpful for you.
The
To
motivation
yeah,
motivates you.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
to keep you pushing to get to that next spot. Like, you know what I mean? Because I can't tell you how many times I get one of those and it's like, damn. I was just wondering, should I spend this 500 on this, or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So
Especially when you're like, man, this 500 could go to this real
yeah,
quick.
man,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
man.
Yeah.
That's the part people don't see,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's just a dope feeling knowing that this idea, that just a random idea that you had, turned into this,
Yeah.
and I think people appreciate being able to see, like you said earlier, being able to see the process,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're small like us, not only are they buying into what you're selling, they're buying into you,
Into
because
you.
you're tangible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're not only buying into, if you were a terrible dad, they wouldn't care what Imagination Upgrade was
Nothing.
doing. If people could see that you was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, he a deadbeat man, fuck dude film company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're not
Exactly.
rocking with you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're tangible. You right here. You're champ.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the more thorough you are, the more authentic you are with what you're doing, the more genuine people know you to be, the more likely they are to support what you have for sale. You know what I'm saying? Or the movement that you're establishing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main thing, and that's what it also lets me know, is that people are vouching for you and your character as a person and as a businessman, and they see your journey and they appreciate, okay, and your stuff happens to be dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I think, well, I hope those combination of factors are,
Yeah.
you know,
The brand starting ends with you, man.
yeah,
You
it
know what I
does.
mean?
Especially at this stage. You know,
Yeah. Man, that's what's up, man. Let me see some of these pieces you brought up here, though. My
Oh,
man brought me some. See, this is my favorite one, the never not hustling, cause that's real, man. Like,
yeah.
is this something you've been going by for a while, or is it like something you just thought was cool? Like, this is like a real thing, never not hustling, especially
Yeah,
for.
that's a real for this year. That actually, and I don't know if I'm sitting too close, but
No, you good.
this for this year, that statement tee has been by far the most popular. Everywhere that I've gone, everywhere that it's been shown, it has done very well. Never not hustling is just, it's a mind state, and it was just the way that I looked at it. Like, man, I'm never not hustling. I said it as one day as a kind of a joke to myself about something I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I actually thought about it, and it's facts.
It's a real
You know
deal.
what I'm saying? That you come from where we come from, it's fact. You never not hustling.
You never turn it off.
You never.
It's always on,
Right.
bro. Well, like, it's always on.
It's always on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's more about just a state of mind. The same as a dollar in a dream. What I try to do is give statements or theories or mantras. You know what I mean? That kind of speak to who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? Just little bits. But yeah, that joint right there has been doing very well.
Yeah. You strike me as the kind of dude that read a lot of books. You read a lot of books, bro.
I listen now.
You listen, yeah,
I
listen.
listen.
I mean, I count that as reading. But
Yeah.
we're in the 21st century, bro. Like, it's technology. We can read a book very fast by listening to it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have any like kind of business books or any books that you recommend out there that people listen to, pick up on Audible, or also side note, just to hustle, you can YouTube a lot of books. Like, it's a lot of the books on
Right.
there instead of having to pay
Right.
a little fee.
My favorite business for what I'm doing book right now was This Is Not a T-Shirt by Bobby Hundreds, who is one half of the founders of the Hundreds, which is one of my favorite brands and one of the most influential brands to as far as streetwear goes.
Yeah.
And a small percentage of it has to do with design and what they're doing design wise. Majority of it has to do with how they approach building what they build
Right.
and their model for what it is. You know what I mean? The Hundreds is conceptually and just the way that they built it dope. But yeah, just the audacity of these kids that built this T-shirt company that had no idea what they were doing, didn't care about rules, and were hustlers. Like, the schemes that they did to get placement and to get people to notice what they were doing were insane.
Yeah.
You know, a little Asian kid and an Iranian kid. You know, two law school dropouts started the Hundreds. But it's by far, as far as the business goes, my favorite read right now. It's called This Is Not a T-Shirt by Bobby Hundreds.
Well, man,
Check it out.
let everybody know where they can find you at, where they can pick up some gear. It's the holidays, you know. You might got a couple of little things on the Christmas list that you need to check off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Check us out at filthycloth.com, FILTHYCLOTH.com. On IG, it's Filthy Cloth and Co. I'm not spelling that shit, bro. That shit is on IG. It's an orange logo. Look at that shit. I'm not spelling that shit.
I'll put it in the notes so they can click on it. It'll be easy.
And yeah, man, that's it. Going on year 3, we got a lot of heat coming. We got a lot of I'm going heavy with graphic tees going into 2020. Got a couple dope capsules that I got on the way for 2020. Please go follow the brand. Stop by the shop for Christmas. Grab a couple pieces. And yeah, man. I'd like to thank my man Champ for welcoming me out.
My guy, man.
Greatly appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you coming out here, man. And this has been good, man. This has been good, especially now. I started off with a couple like basketball players that I knew and just like the mentality, and now it's kind of moving into the just more of the business stuff. Like, I'm still figuring this podcast out. I just like to talk to my homies that I think is dope, man. And everybody that's been on here, I think is dope. And you definitely not coming short on that, man. Like, keep killing it, bro. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely gonna keep supporting. So with that being said, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe if y'all on YouTube or wherever y'all at listening to your podcast, man. And we coming back. So thank y'all, and we catch y'all later. Peace.
Peace.